The theme around the Boston Celtics talking to players last night was finally, we got to this mountaintop. So let's take a look back at how they assembled the pieces of this championship roster. And it started over a decade ago, really July 12th, 2013. The Celtics traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, among others, to the Nets, right, for multiple firsts, which turned into their two franchise players. In 2016, Jaylen Brown is selected third overall using the Nets pick. And then in 2017, after trading down with the 76ers, Jason Tatum is selected third overall. Fast forward, Shanae, and they go off in these finals.
Yep, these two young guys matured into the best backcourt this year that finished #1 in offensive rating. So, yes, they delivered.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
This year, not backcourt.
Oh, you're saying duo overall? Okay. Here we go, Perk.
But this duo was there back in 2022 and couldn't quite get the job done. They needed a couple more pieces in order to complete the mission. So who were those pieces, you may ask? Well, let's go ahead to February 10th, 2022, when the Celtics trade Josh Richardson and a first pick swap as well to the Spurs, right, for Derek White here.
This is a low-key, brilliant trade at the time. People in the league didn't even know Derek White was available. This was the beginning of the march towards Wembanyama, and it worked out for everybody.
He's one of two players in NBA history with 63 pointers and 20 blocks in a single postseason. The other was Tatum in 2022.
Oh, his teammate. How nice.
Exactly.
How
this is why we
started
to be loved by you. And so Derek White sacrificed everything, including his teeth, to get here. But what about Kristaps Porzingis on June 23rd, 2023? In a three-team trade with the Grizzlies and the Wizards, the Celtics traded Marcus Smart, Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and a second for Kristaps Porzingis. And the question was, is it going to work?
I was hotter than fish grease.
Yes, you were. Speak on it.
For trading Marcus Smart, but look, the vision Joe Mazzulla, Whit Grossbeck, and Brad Stevens had, right? Getting a guy that could stretch the floor and block shot and protect the paint, and having to get rid of Marcus Smart in the process.
Perk.
I didn't see it.
Perk, was I right when I told you this was going to be a good
Remember,
move?
they had a trade that wouldn't have included Smart that fell apart.
They were nervous about making this trade too, but if you told them at the time they would have gotten this guy, Drew Holiday, they would have been okay with it. They traded Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams, and 2 firsts to the Blazers for Drew Holiday. And then Holiday shot 50, 40, 95% from the free throw line in the postseason. He's the first player to shoot 50, 40, 90 in the postseason on at least 125 attempts in NBA history.
Perk is cheesing now.
They gave up role players to get a future Hall of Famer.
Let's take a listen to what Deuce told Jason Tatum after they finally won it all.
He told me that I was the best in the world. And I said, you damn right I am. Banner number 18 has been hanging over our head for so many years. To know that we're going to be engraved in history. And it still hasn't, registered. I'm just still trying to process it all. But we did it. We won a championship.
I hope that when people watch us play, they see the joy that we play with, that we love playing together, and we got it done together. And I feel like that's the most important thing.
Yeah, the doubters, they may be quieted now, but they'll be back. You know, they'll probably be back next year with something else to say. So we just all embrace that moment the same and get after it yet again.
Next year, I mean, we're going to talk about it right now. The Celtics, they're built to last with their entire starting lineup set to return next season, right? Jason Tatum is eligible to sign a Supermax deal this offseason that would keep him in Boston for another half decade. And you can see how long the rest of the starters are signed up for. Derek White, the priority, right, with just 1 year left here. Perk, you were part of one of the best Celtics teams of all time.
Yeah.
You know better than anyone how hard it is to get back to that championship podium. So how many titles in the modern NBA do you think this Celtics team can win?
I can see them winning 3 out of the next 4 years. And look, I was one of the ones that I said last year and this season, I don't believe that we're going to have back-to-back champs.
We haven't seen one since Golden State in 17 and 8.
We're on the verge of seeing one now. Okay. And this team is the real deal, led by their 2 young superstars in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And the one thing about Brad Stevens is that he's never satisfied. He said it last night. I'm back to the drawing board looking at the draft. We don't know what moves he might try to make again to improve the depth on their bench. We don't know what old man Al Horford is going to do. I believe he's going to return. At the end of the day, this team is never satisfied. I think this team is built like we were built to actually go on, like to win 2 or 3 championships.
Yeah, but you were built that way, and then.
But we were injured.
Yeah, but injuries can always.
Yeah, I know. I get that, but these guys, they just different. They different.
The day after you won the title in 08, were you thinking about winning more?
Who?
The Celtics.
Absolutely.
Because I just think they should celebrate winning one.
I get that, but let me explain to you. Now, I know our celebration was probably a little different than them. It looked like they went out on the town. We went to KG House. Now, the festivities that we had over there, I would not show.
Oh, dear.
I was going to say, can we continue the segment, or do we need to do a commercial?
We stayed up to 4 o'clock in the morning, and we stayed up vibing, and we talked about what's next, right? And we was like, we're about to run them off. We're about to run them off. Remember, our starting 5, when healthy, never lost the playoff series together. It was just the fact that we had it on our mind. We knew we had a window, and we was trying to run them off.
So I want the Celtics to celebrate this victory before we try to count the future. We are in a period of parity in the NBA. This is the 6th consecutive year with a different champ. I do think that we're going to see teams, bulk up over the next month to try to make a run at them. I would love to see the Celtics play the Nuggets, because it was just a year ago we were having these same conversations about the Nuggets, and the Nuggets stubbed their toe on their home court in a Game 7, didn't get a chance to defend. And the new rules that are coming into play that are now fully going to be in effect for the next season, when the first apron, the second apron, it is designed to crack a team like the Celtics apart. Having said that, the contract extensions that you talked about for White and Tatum won't kick in until after next season. So they will be there for next season. And the most important thing out of all this, Tatum and Brown are 26 and 27. They're going to be signed for many years into the future, and I see no stopping them from being highly competitive for years to come.
Highly competitive over here, okay, but 3 of 4?
Nah, I was going to say maybe in the next 3 years they get 1, max maybe 2.
Really?
Because the rest of the East, like you said, we are in this period of parity. We talk about it oftentimes with the West, but the East, these teams are only going to improve. The Philadelphia 76ers, the New York Knicks get healthier. The Pacers showed us a lot that they had in the postseason. Milwaukee's going to figure things out in another year with Dame Lillard. Cleveland was pretty solid. I know there's questions with Donovan Mitchell, but the Magic are still here. They were coming. So, Miami's always a factor. So the East is better.
I get that, but when Joel Embiid, when he came on the countdown for Game 4, he talked about the new CBA and the East was hurting, things of that nature. Our guy, Bobby Marks, he quote tweeted, he said, I have news for Joel. If there's a team built to negate the apron rules, it's Boston. When Bobby says
it,
I'm listening.
Then we are listening.
I'm listening.
One of the reasons we're listening is because of this dynamic.